And here's another day at Hopkins Meat Packing Place, and we are going to see the sales today. I am here for chicken wings. They are just $2.38 a pound, and at Winn-Dixie they were $4.49.
I like this, but on my daughter.
Look at the size of these thighs.
I get one.
Okay, my son's got the 40 pounds of wings. We're loading it up. Take the lid off there. Just check it out. Oh, it's in a blue bag. And the box is open, and look at the size of these wings. These are some mighty big wings. We are going to cut the tips off and cut them in half, and then we are going to season them and put them in the fridge for a couple days and then can them. Hi, this is Karen from White Willow, and today we are going to do chicken wings in the can. So we are canning a bunch of chicken wings. I already kind of started things. I did wash and rinse these. I'm gonna wash and rinse them again once I kind of separate them and cut them apart. I do not add this little piece here, so I'm gonna cut that off, and then I'm gonna cut these in two pieces. I am going to take this part off here. I'm gonna cut that off, and then I'm gonna separate these into two pieces. These are really big wings. I don't know if you can see these and size them and think about like how big they really are, but they're just huge. So I am going to take, I'm trying to get this so you can see it. I'm just gonna take my knife and I'm going to chop off this wing part, this pointy part. We don't need that, and plus it takes up too much room in the can for not enough justice. Like we want to have meat in there. And I'm gonna go ahead and chop this apart. Into two very meaty looking pieces. So I'm going to soak these again once I get all these taken apart, and I'm going to show you how to make the sauce. So I have these in a bowl and I'm rinsing these again. I just want to make sure they're really good and clean. I did rinse them the first time in a little white vinegar, so just to make sure there's nothing, no bacteria or anything in the chicken wings themselves. They're all cut up, they're ready to go. We're going to use quart-sized jars. That means 90 minutes in the pressure canner. So let's get started. So here I have had half a stick of butter, or half a cup of butter, melting, and it's good and melted. I'm just going to kind of whip that a little bit. And then we're going to add 1.5 cups of hot sauce. We're going to add it right to this melted butter. Now I am using both this Crystal Louisiana hot sauce and a little mixture of this Texas Pete, because that's what I had to make up the whole amount. This does not come out of the bottle that well, so when you're using large amounts for the Crystal, just know that you have to literally shake it forever. So I'm going to go ahead and stir that a little bit, get that butter mixed in with that hot sauce really well. This is just 5 to 6 pounds of chicken wings that you put in this sauce. So if you want to double it, if you want to do more, then do more. I'm going to go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. I do go a little less on the white vinegar just because I don't like a strong vinegar taste. And then there's a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. I'm just going to add that together. We're going to do 1 teaspoon of garlic, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. I didn't add parsley. Some people like to add parsley. I don't necessarily like parsley on my wings. And then we're adding 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to let this kind of bubble up a little bit. So I'm going to turn it on a medium heat and let this kind of bubble up just for a minute or two, and then we're going to turn it back down again. So these are rinsed and the sauce is simmering. I'm just gonna go ahead and add a little bit of garlic, a little bit of salt, maybe a little more than a little salt. And I use my hands. If you want to use gloves, but this is how I do. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of Tony's Original Creole seasoning. Just a little bit in there. It has a good kick. So, and then I'm gonna just take my hands, I'm putting this in the right place, and just mix it on up. You just want that seasoning to get mixed in real good. Now that the sauce is simmering, we're gonna let it cool. I let it actually go from medium to a light boil, and then drop back down to a, let me get that little piece of bone out of there. Drop down to low just for a minute or two, and then I shut it off, and now it's simmering. So this smells good with that seasoning on it. I'm gonna put a little smoked paprika in here too, but let me wash my hands now. So I'm gonna add a little bit of smoked paprika and get that stirred around too. I'm gonna add a little more of Tony's, just a little. And this is just before you put it in the bags even. Like, we're gonna put all this in bags with the sauce in it. And then that sauce is gonna just marinate this chicken for a couple days. And we'll can it in a couple days. This smells good. Again, if you wanna add parsley or whatever your favorite seasoning is, if you wanna use the Louisiana hot sauce, whatever your favorite hot sauce is. It's just a little different than just adding hot sauce to this, because you need the little vinegar and the other flavors. Sometimes when you can, the flavors kind of dissipate a little bit, so you want to make sure that you have the little bit of seasoning and a variety of seasoning in your chicken. Let's head over to the sauce. So this sauce is been off for a little bit, so it's got, it's still pretty warm. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna add, make sure that doesn't fall in, it keeps sliding in, this clear gel. This is actually Hoosier Hill Farms clear gel. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of this clear gel, and I'm gonna have to drop it in again. I don't wanna hang on to this wire whisk today. So before we add this to our wings, our beefy wings, I'm just gonna go ahead and sprinkle this in, and we're gonna go ahead and just really stir that up good. We want this to really thicken a little bit, and you'll see that as we do this. Let me get it all out of here. As it cools, it will start to thicken, and then we'll pour this sauce into some bags with the beefy wings. They are beefy. Ooh, they are beefy. So, and we're gonna try to get 7 quarts. If we need more than 7 quarts, then I'll do a second canister, but I doubt it. We're gonna get anywhere from 6 to 10, probably not 10, probably more like 6 to 8 wings in the jars. You're gonna see that we use a wide mouth jar, and that we really pack them in. No juice added, no juice added at all. You're gonna have this sauce over the wings, and because the chicken has a bone in it, you don't need to add any liquid. The bones make their own broth. So when I take these out of the can, I like to put them in the air fryer. And you just kind of heat them up in the air fryer a little bit. It adds a little bit of crispness to it. This is looking good. We'll let this sit for a minute, and then we'll see the thickness. So I am going to do 3 Ziploc bags, and I'm gonna fill these chicken in there, and I'm gonna divide this into 3 parts. You can see, maybe, I don't know if you can see, it's thicker. It's got a nice texture to it. And this is gonna stick to those beefy chicken wings here. So I'm just gonna start to add these here. I'm gonna get a little mix of each one. I may only need 2 bags. We'll see. I want to fill up the canner. That's, you know, that's one of the goals, is to make sure I have 7 quarts. Kind of hard to, you know, measure when you have different size wings. And I'm just going to add all these to the bags, and then I'll divide the sauce into both bags evenly, because I want this sauce to be sitting in the refrigerator for a couple days on the wings, just really marinating those wings well. That looks about right. Looking good. We are ready for the sauce. So we have about just 2.5 cups of this sauce that we had simmering, and it's a little thick, so we're gonna try to put 1 1/4. It's not gonna be perfect, but we're gonna go ahead and put about 1 1/4 in each bag. So that is down to like 1.5 cups. So that was about 1 cup. Let's go ahead down to 1/2 cup. It's a little bit more. And then we're just gonna squeeze these, keep squeezing them until they are covered and floating in the sauce. Woo. Not on the floor. I'm gonna make sure that's sitting upright. I'm gonna make sure I get every drop of this sauce out of this measuring cup. That one doesn't want to sit right. There we go. And we will mash them around. And we are going to put these again in the wide mouth jars, because otherwise you will not get them out of the jar, let alone it's really difficult to get in the jar. And I say that because I have put chicken drumsticks or thighs in a small mouth jar, and then when you go to pull it out, you only pull the bone out. You don't even get the chicken. It's all sitting in the jar. All right, so we are going to put these in the refrigerator for 2 days, and then we are going to can them. These bad boys have been marinating in the sauce for 2 days in the refrigerator. I am going to put on gloves to do this. I didn't before when I shoved them in the bag, but definitely getting them in this jar. I almost wish I had gloves that like went up to my elbow, because this is kind of messy, as you will see. So I do use the wide mouth jars. I have my canner started back here. This has about a little over 1 inch of water in the bottom of it. It's cold, because these are going to be cold. I am going to put some white vinegar in it. Let me do that now before I forget. So I did put a little white vinegar in the pot itself with the water. The reason I do this is because the outside of the jar can get cloudy and look nasty. It's fine, it won't hurt anything, but I do like to do that to make this stay clear. When I first started canning, I didn't do that, and my jars didn't look all that great. All right, the messy part has begun. Now, the reason it's super messy is because you have to make sure that you have them packed in as tightly as possible. Okay, so look at this, these beefy, like these are awesome. These I got at Hopkins Meat Packing in Sanford, Florida. They are my favorite go-to meat place, because all the new meat that you buy at the grocery store has the bioengineered stuff in it. So go to your local butcher, support your local butcher. Not that they need any more business, because they are always busy. They have sales occasionally, and see how I'm shoving these in? I'm literally shoving them down. And this is a quart jar, just FYI. So they have sales, and occasionally they'll say what their sale is. Just know that they're, that guy's not gonna fit in that way. Look at this guy, he's so big. He doesn't even fit in the jar. We're gonna start him on the bottom. Another one. Oh my gosh, it's like a drumstick. This is a wing, a wing. You saw me cut them apart, this is a wing. Anyway, it's so exciting. This is not what you buy at the store, and I think I said earlier in this video that these are all too big to put in here. That I went to Winn-Dixie just to see what their wing prices were, and their wing prices were, look at this wing. I know, it's exciting. I'm gonna go ahead and put this last one in. I kind of want it to be below the bend, so I want to leave a space here. You do not add any liquid to this. We are going to clean these jars up because I, totally massacred them while I'm trying to do this. That's why I put gloves on. But we're going to go ahead and, I don't know. If you buy wings smaller than this, you're crazy. Now, it's a little work to cut them apart and make sure the feathers are all off of them. And, but you're not going to find better looking wings than this. Like this solid meat. Now, my grandson loves this part of the wing. He doesn't like this part of the wing. I don't know. Everybody else wants the meaty part. My grandson likes the wingy part. So I'm going to shove these in. Again, you want to make sure that you have them all the way to the bottom, because you want them packed tightly. They will shrink a little bit because, they're going to cook. I'm going to put this one in upside down. It's like a drumstick. I know when I packed these, I thought they were big, but I swear they got bigger in the marinade. They just grew. So as crazy as it is, I bought 40 pounds of chicken wings. 40. I went ahead and separated. This was like 7.5 pounds of chicken wings. I probably should have put more because I'm 1 jar short, but that's okay. We're gonna do a dummy jar, and I'm gonna fill this with water, so that way my canner that holds 7 quarts actually holds 7 quarts. It's okay to do this. Some people, I like to seal it when I'm doing pressure canning. If I'm doing water bath, I don't put a lid on it. Anyway, so the jars themselves are messy. So I'm gonna first just take it, I sort of wipe down the outside of the jar first. This is just water on here. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe this down just around the rim so that where the seal goes, it's clean. Another one. I just do this really well because you don't want anything breaking that seal. Nothing breaking that seal. So you want to make sure that you have it cleaned off really well. It doesn't matter on the inside of the jar, but on the outside of the jar, you know, this rim, you want to really make sure it's clean. So then we're going to wipe it down with vinegar. I don't know why. I've always done it that way. That's the way I learned, and that's the way I do it. If you do more than fingertip tight, there's a chance they can buckle. That just means you wrenched it down too hard. So these are just fingertip tight, and I'm gonna go ahead and put one on the water jar as well because I'm using the pressure canner. And you know what, anything goes. If it works for you, try it. This is meat. We're gonna go ahead and pressure can it because it's in a quart jar for 90 minutes. This is just my dummy jar because dummy me didn't put enough wings in, and I have plenty of sauce. I just scrape the sauce off and put it in the top of the jar. So these are gonna be delicious. And I like to put them in the air fryer. When they come out, they're already cooked. So I just like to put them in the air fryer and it just crispens them up a little bit. Note that they will be hard to get out of the jar because they will be so tender, they will just fall off the bone. So be careful when you're pulling them out, and that's why I use a wide mouth jar. So this is a cold pot, and I'm gonna put the jars into the canner. I'm trying to hold this one. For some reason, my camera's not cooperating with me. I'll just put the dummy jar in the middle. And there are 7 quarts right there. The final product, I have 6 hot wings, and I went ahead and did 7 teriyaki wings while I had the canner out. So this isn't that hard. You're gonna cook anyway, so go ahead and start canning. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to this video. And as always, thank you for watching White Willow.